Hello, I'm Suzanne Stewart and I'm Hawkesbury City Council's Communication Manager. I'm here today with Linda Perrine, our Director of Planning, and Peter Ryan, the President of the Pitt Town Progress Association. We've worked together to prepare this video for the community of Pitt Town so that you can hear the answers from Council to some of the key questions that you have about your community. Today, your questions have focused on the two draft master plans that Council has been preparing. The first one is the Open Space Draft Master Plan and the second is the Fernadell Park Master Plan. I'm just going to hand over to Linda and she's going to give you a bit of a background about the two master plans, and then we're going to work through some questions that the community of Pitt Town has about these master plans. Thanks, Linda.
Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for having us on video. So as Suzanne said, we've been working on a couple of master plans. So one is, I'm calling it a master plan Pitt Town on a page. So here we are. This was, if for no other reason, it was a useful document for me to get my head around the works that we're planning for the community, works that have been promised or identified through, and then we're funding through developer contributions. The other thing is to try and get a sense of agreement between, what we can deliver to meet community expectations. The other master plan is the Fernadell master plan, which has been, there's been a number of consultations around that. With the broader master plan, which I'm pointing out here, we haven't done any consultation today except with the association to get some feedback to see if anything's missing. I haven't engaged with the councillors yet, so I need to do that, and then we'll bring something out to the community more formally next year. Okay, so Peter's got a bunch of questions he wants to ask me, so over to Peter.
Look, basically the members of the association have looked at this plan and they're very much in agreement with it. One thing we would really like to push is the walkway along the river here and up into Hall Street as soon as possible. How long do you believe it'll take for this to get underway, Linda?
Okay, so I understand everybody wants things built now. The issue for council is for any capital works, we have a process that we need to go through, and the first thing we need to do is get it onto our budget, onto our annual operational plan. So at this point in time, this piece of work, even though it's identified in our contributions plan, we haven't done any design yet, we do not have the costings, and therefore we do not have a when we'll be able to roll it out. Step one is I need to confer with my director of, the Director of Infrastructure Services, because this will fall into this area, to get it onto his design works, into the operational plan, and then we'll go from there. When the design is being developed, of course, it will come back to the association and the community get some input. In terms of actually when it will get done, it comes down to availability of money and timing of that work.
Okay, Linda, at the end of Hawkesbury Street here, there's a concrete footpath 2 metres wide, has been allowed in one of the developers. Hasn't been delivered to date. Could you just explain what has happened with that?
Okay, so the developer contacted council and said he had some concerns around safety, and quite rightly, from council's point of view, we need to consider any safety concerns. So instead of having him develop the footpath, which was an agreement, we negotiated what that footpath would cost, and he has actually given that money to council so that we can undertake the works. The safety concern was, if you constructed the footpath, it was leading people into obviously a bushy area, there's a bit of a steep descent, and so the concerns around, we don't want to encourage people going into an area that's not quite safe. So we will do the work, but ultimately we actually wanted to see how it would link in with the rest of this plan as well.
Thank you. Here in Farmhouse and Johnson Street, there's a roadway. It used to be called Tea Tree Lane back when I was a young fella a long time ago. Is there a possibility that can be linked in as a walkway too?
So yes, I got that feedback from the association, which was really good. So we'll be looking at just including that in this overall master plan, and just making it a fairly simple gravel pathway. But again, it will be subject to design and funding, so I can't tell you when it will occur.
Okay. With the Thornton property here, is there any opportunity for more development through here in Mitchell Road and Redfern Street, in those areas? Is there more scope for development?
Yes, there is. Based on our current local environmental plan, the minimum lot size could be 2,500 square metres, so yes, there's potential for more development there.
Okay. And a big question people have is, how can we get rid of the heavy traffic in our town? When Thornton development goes ahead, as you can see here, there's a link to Cateye Road. Could it be possible to put that in the approval that all heavy vehicles have to use that there, therefore keeping them out of the middle of our town?
Yes, again, we completely understand the concerns by the community in terms of noise, dust, traffic, impact on the roads that we're fixing up. So with those kinds of matters, we would, any development application has to provide a traffic management plan, which would then consider, how construction vehicles will be entering into our sites. So with an approval, we can condition it that trucks need to use certain routes as opposed to other routes.
Thank you. One other one. The punt road down here to the boat ramp, the developer, we believe, was required to do that. What's happening with that now? Is there any chance that the punt road will be sealed and the development at the end of it go ahead?
So in terms of Punt Road, the boat ramp and the associated car park, they're all still linked as the original Part 3A approval, and really at this point in time it is linked to the development of the Thornton precinct. So whichever developer ends up doing that will have those works notionally attached to being done there. So that the Part 3A approval did not link those works with any particular sites, and that which is one of the things that we've been lumbered with as a result.
Okay. Well, that's probably enough questions on that. We'll put up the Fernandel master plan, and if you could give me give the people a quick overview on what's happening.
Okay, all right. So again, this is about trying to create a community facility and an overall open space and parks area. It will be obviously a significant piece of infrastructure for the community. There has been some consultation with the community about this. The issue we have though is at the moment the approximate cost of works is about $14 million, I'm not sure which we don't have obviously. So it will be a process of how do we stage the works, what can be done first, what can be funded through the developed contributions, and also what kind of grant funding could council obtain in order to complete the works.
The red hatching here, I believe, is where the stormwater is. Has council applied for any grants or anything in relation to having that done?
Yes, because ideally if we can actually cover over the stormwater, it expands and unifies that whole open space, so yes.
And section 5 here, that's the community centre.
Yes, at this point in time, that's where we're notionally putting the community
And
centre.
will that be developed with the Fernandel overall plan at the same time, or what would be the time?
I think at the end of the day, as I said, that this whole thing will have to be staged in terms of how we get money in. So until we've, I suppose, landed on the stages and got agreement about it, depending on funding, then I can tell you more about when that centre will be done.
Okay. We've got a dog park over here.
Yeah. Number 7?
Number
yeah.
7, beautiful little spot for a dog park. Who will be responsible for maintaining this dog park?
Okay, so obviously council will. So our open space and parks team they'll be responsible for maintaining any of the open space areas. There'll be signs obviously around keeping your dogs on leash or on leash or off leash. If there'll be poo bins, the dog poo. But we want the community also to take responsibility for their dogs, but ultimately council is responsible as well.
Just get back to the community centre. Will there be a possibility of providing more parking here for the community centre?
I think definitely that can be looked at as part of the overall master plan.
Okay. Well, a lot of the progress members have looked at the overall plans, both, and we're quite happy with them. We will be at the front of the Pitt Town shops over the next couple of weekends, and we'll have these plans. So if people want to come along and look at them, ask us some questions, we may not have the answer, but we could forward them on to you, Linda.
Absolutely.
But I'd just like to thank Susan and Linda for your time today and
Thank you.
for explaining this to the community.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for bringing the questions from the community to council, and this is a great way to work together. So thank you.
Thank you.